Hello, this is my discussion post for this week. The first question is, which of the documentary's personal stories resonated with you the most? The story that really struck me the most was the lady who was a lawyer for these people, for the incarcerated, or I don't know if she was a lawyer, but she helped them once they got out of prison. And then she ended up doing some money fraud, and she was incarcerated herself, and she had to witness these horrors that everyone else was going through. So I just thought it was a really interesting perspective that she had. And the next question, Rikers Island Jail has been called one of the 10 worst jails in America. Do you think the stories of what go on there could also be true in your community? I think they could be true. I think whenever there's a position of power and someone who is weaker, like with the guards and then the inmates, there tends to be some abuse that may go on. Not that it's always going on, but there tends to be some abuse. And also with inmate to inmate violence, I believe that there is probably a high rate of that, because when you're, like they were talking about in the documentary, the more violent you are, the more power you had, and you either ate or got eaten like that. You were the beater or you were the one that got beaten up. What do you think are human, psychological, and spiritual impacts of the incarceration and the consistent regardless if the jail is urban versus versus rural versus large or small? I'm not sure. I think it kind of depends on the type of people you get. I imagine that a jail in California would have a bunch of different types of people versus the jail in Omaha. Just like the people are different, there's different cultures going on. I believe that it would be different as well. And I feel like smaller prisons probably have a better sense of control because there are less people and there's just less things going on. And you probably know everybody probably a little bit better. And I imagine that the impact of incarceration would be more impactful on someone from a small town than a bigger town, because everyone knows in small town Nebraska, everyone knows you went to jail. But then if you go to New York, nobody's gonna know you were in jail. Not your neighbors won't know. There's a high chance they will not know unless they know you personally. And based on the stories you heard, what kind of reform do you think is needed? Well, I think they need to get rid of the gangs. The gangs are not good, obviously, because people are beating up on other people. I feel like there should be more accountability for the guards. The guards should not be able to beat or rape people just because they feel like it, or one of the inmates mouthed off to a guard. I do not think they should be beaten for that. There should be more accountability on that front. I don't think the guards should be able to hit people just because they want to. The only thing I think would be acceptable for that if it was in self-defense. And the inmates probably need something beneficial to do. They probably need to learn. They need to go to group therapy sessions. We could almost structure it like a mental health unit in a hospital, because one of the guys was talking about how he does have those mental health issues, and another lady was talking about how she does have mental health issues, but she just doesn't want to fix it with a pill. She wants to work on different things to be able to get better. But those resources aren't available, so they probably should have therapists and psychologists working personally with the inmates in order to help them get better. And they should also be taught life skills, maybe cooking, cleaning, sewing clothes, other things like that. And things to keep them occupied and give them real life skills for when they do leave the prison.